Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this session, inshallah, you will learn how to identify outliers in your data set. And I'm sure you have learned a lot in data cleaning and organization. Also, you have learned if you have data which is not clean, there are some missing values, or there are some empty cells, or if you have some issues related to capitalizations, or having data in inconsistent format or order, such as purchase date, if you remember, or if you have missing informations or values in your variable of interest. Also, you have learned if you have a mobile number which is not valid, there is text in between, or the number is not the minimum. Then you had learned some tips and some tricks or some Excel functions you have to deal with. In today's session, we are focusing on outliers. Okay, if you remember, we have already explained what is outlier, but very quickly. Uh, in our data set, we have two variable of interest. What is purchase amount, another is satisfaction rating. So these two variables should not have any outliers. And what is outlier? Outlier is an extreme value in either side. If it is too high or too low value, if it is a very large value or too much small value, so we should find them out and we should adjust them. Why? Because if you have outliers in your data sets, then your results are not reliable. Your results will not be accurate and reliable or representative. If you remember, we have discussed about averages. If you try to compute average score and there is an outlier or significant deviation in your data set, then the average is not representative. So, dear students, very simply, the outlier is the value which is too extreme, very high value or very lower value you have in your data set. So in your purchase amount, have to know if you have an outlier, simply just select the column and click on insert first, and we have a graph here. We have different graphs. In these graphs, select this one. I think this is appropriate. Line with markers. When you click on, okay, we have a graph. In this graph, we have values. All of them are clustered together, closer to each other. But one value is too far away, too much farther than average. This point, which is plotted here, around 15,000 value. This value probably 15,000. So this value is outlier, and if you have negative value in the other extreme, that is also called outlier. And dear students, if you have outliers in your data, then you should adjust it. You should remove it if you don't have any way out for. Why? Because outlier is kind of creating issues in your results, your analysis. Your analysis will not be representative. So if all these values are closer to mean, but one value is too much farther away, they are, it means in positive extreme, this extreme. Okay, have to deal with, we have function in Excel, very simple. Okay, let me remove it first, this one. Okay, dear students, for outliers, two concepts are very important. One is mean. Two things you should have. One is mean and another is standard deviation. Okay, very simply, what is mean? Mean is the average value. For example, in purchase amount, what is the average value of the purchase amount? Okay, we have a function in Excel, very easy. Put equal sign for each and every function. You should put equal sign first. So put equal sign and then type average and then start with bracket, and take the whole data set here. This is the whole column. Okay, I'm telling Excel to find out the average. Okay, what is the average value? 3,340.83. What does this mean? Simply, this means by average, each and every customer has purchased 3,340.83 amount, right? So this is the average value. This is the average purchase. Okay, the second point is standard deviation. You should know what is standard deviation. Okay, if you remember, I have already explained on whiteboard with a graph. This is okay, sorry. Just select this column and click on insert and click on these graphs. Select this one, okay, this one. Okay, now look here. uh, we see deviations. Okay, the ups and downs, you see these are deviations. There is an average line here, average line, and all these values are deviated. These fluctuations are deviations, or some have normal, but one is in extreme. Okay, so if I'm asking you a question to find out the standard deviation, what is meant by standard deviation? Standard deviation means the average deviations from the central value. Okay, what is the value by standard? Okay, which is either up or down. So if you remember, I have explained and I have drawn a graph of standard deviation, but don't worry about it. Inshallah, we'll have a separate session of standard deviation. I will explain it in detail. But very simply here, the standard deviation, you can say that is the deviation which is the equal amount of deviation, the standard deviations from the mean. So in our analysis, you should find out standard deviation here. And how to find out standard deviation? Very simply put equal sign, and then if you type st, then there are many standard deviation formula you have, and what the one you needed is standard deviation, that is this one. Okay, double click on this one. Why? Because this is a sample data, this is not population data. If you just try to return the standard deviation from the population, then you should use standard deviation.s, but we have a sample data, so that's why we are using standard deviation.s. Okay, now just select the whole column here and close the bracket. So the standard deviation here is 2428.69. This is standard deviation. What does this really mean? It means by standard, the deviations in either side, up and down, is 2428. This is the deviations or fluctuation in your data. Okay, once these values are given, then you can find out what is outlier. Okay, we have an Excel function. Very simply, just be attentive and I'm explaining each and every step in this function. First, you should put equal sign, and then you should type if, right? And then you should type or. Okay, we should have if and or. Why? Because what do we mean by or? We are telling Excel that if this value is in two extreme, either in higher extreme or in lower extreme, either in higher extreme or in lower, that's why we are using or. So this state, the state of this cell can be in one situation, either in high or in low. So that is why you should put if and start with bracket and then or, and then again start with bracket. Okay, after that, the value or the column from which you try to find out outlier, this is the purchase amount. This is a variable of interest. So click on this value. We're telling Excel that if this value, which is D2, is greater than the mean value, which is this mean value. If this D2 value is greater than the mean value plus 2 times of standard deviation, 2 times of standard deviation. Okay, or if this D2 value is less than this mean value plus, right, 2 times of standard deviation, 2 times of less, here is minus, okay, minus 2 times of standard deviation. This is standard deviation. Okay, once again, I'm just quickly repeating. I'm telling Excel if this D2 value is greater than the mean plus 2 times of standard deviations, or this value is lower than the mean, also lower than mean minus 2 times of standard deviation. It means if this value is in two extreme, either higher by this amount or lower by this amount, okay? If it is lower by this amount, it means lower by mean, also lower from 2 standard deviations. Then what you should do, I'm telling Excel to call this value or this situation an outlier. Call it what? Call it an outlier. Otherwise, it is not outlier and instead it is okay. Now just load. Okay, here if there is a minor mistake, then the Excel is correcting that. Okay, so this is a function. Click on yes. Now here this value is not outlier. Okay, that is why the Excel is stating that it's okay. But keep in mind one point I'm just trying to highlight, which is very important, and that is the D2 value. This is D2 value. I'm telling Excel to stick into this value. Why? Because if you do not tell the Excel to stick it to the value, then when you drag it down, then the Excel is taking all these empty cells. So I have to tell it to stick to the value. Just click on D2 and press F4. Also, you should tell to Excel to stick into the main value. Okay, I'm sorry, this is not the value you should stick to. Okay, you should stick, the Excel should stick, not stick into this value. Okay, just remove the dollar sign from here. I'm sorry. Okay, these two values, which is one is this one. Okay, L2. I'm just telling to Excel to stick into the mean value, so just click on this and press F4. Also, I'm telling to stick into standard deviation. The standard deviation, this is the standard deviation value, which is L7. Okay, L7. Okay, once again, these two values, one is the mean values, which is L6, one is standard deviations, which is L7. And here's also I'm telling to stick it here. Okay, the value should be stick here. This is also press F4. Click on this and press F4. Click here and press F4. Then click. Okay, now it's okay. If you drag it down, then all the values are okay. Only single value is there, which is outlier, which is this value is 15,000. Very simple, dear student. Once again, I'm just repeating to explain this function for you. In this function, I'm telling Excel through this logical if condition that if this D2 value is greater than the mean plus 2 times of standard deviations, or this value is lower than the mean, also lower than the mean plus 2 times of standard deviation. If it is lower from, then call it outlier, otherwise call it okay. It is an okay value. It is not an outlier. Okay, simply. So we have only one outlier. Still, if you have any problem, just take a screenshot anywhere. If you have any issues, and call me, inshallah, I'll explain it further for you. Okay. Okay, this was the method to find out outlier. Now, how to manage it simply, there are many techniques. I'm not just going into detail a lot, inshallah, in research. I'll let you know many techniques have to manage outlier, but simply you can remove these outlier values here, right? Or you can adjust it, make it closer to the average value or the nearby value, just to remove outlier, to remove the bad effect of outlier on your finding or result. Okay, dear student, this was one way how to find out outlier in Excel. Also, you can use another method in Stata, and I'm teaching you how to do that in Stata. Okay, I'm saving this file. Okay, I have a Stata file. Here I have a Stata. I think here we have Stata. Inshallah, I'll share this with you. Stata 14. Okay, click on this exe file. Okay, this is the Stata software. Very easy, very simple. Okay, first we are importing the file. So we have go to the file and click on import. And import, just we are importing from where? If you import from Excel spreadsheet, click on Excel spreadsheet and browse. And yes, I'm importing this data file. Already I have a file by the name of Stata. Click on open, and then just click on import first row as available name. This is really important. Click on this because these rows names are important to be appear. Okay, now instead of here we have all the data we have imported. Okay, we have ID, name, gender, and purchase. But keep in mind this data is having two options. You can use command, right, prompt here, or you can use here menus. Whatever you are using, it's okay, no problem. Okay, okay. Now, if you want to check your data in Stata to see, just press edit. If you click on edit, then you will have the data sheet view here. Okay, this is an ID. We have name, gender, and purchase values. Okay, and we have satisfaction. Okay, there are many discussions in Stata related to the values, numbers, and format and other, but I'm not discussing that. What we are just focused about is the outlier, how to find out outlier in purchase and this column in purchase amount. Okay. Okay, dear student, for finding outliers, we have the same value, the same method you have in Excel, you can use it here in Stata also. One way in Stata to find out outlier, and here in command you can type sort, what is sort, sort, and then press space and select the variable which you would like to sort it. But I'm sorting out purchase date, okay, purchase amount, this one. Click on this arrow and then you have sort, or you can type it simply purchase amount. If you don't click, you can type it. Now when you press enter, then the purchase amount is sorted. Okay, just go to edit view. Now check, we have purchase amount, it is sorted. It means the smaller values that is on the top and the larger values are at the end. So look, the outlier value is coming to the end. From here, this is one way in Stata. Just when you sort the data, so all larger values are coming to the end. So you will see the outlier which is at the end, which is 15,000 outlier. So here is one simple way just to sort the variable of your interest and see if it has outlier or not. Okay, again, I'm just not sorting it, just sorted back by name. I'm telling it sorted by name, edit. Now all the data is sorted by name. So names which are started with A, they are at the top, and then B and this way to the Z, okay? Okay, dear students, one way to find out outlier in Stata is you can use the menus, okay? Just click on graphics here, and from the graphics we have box plot, okay? Box plot. In the box plot, you can use variable here. I'm just trying to find out the box plot of purchase amount here, and then click here, okay. Now this is a box plot, okay. In the box plot we have interquartile range. Shall I explain this in detail for you? What is interquartile range? So this is the median value, which is the center value, and this is the 25th quartile, and this is 75th quartile, and these lines are called whiskers. I'll explain this separately inshallah in one lecture. So if you observe any value which is above the whiskers, look, these two values are whiskers. These are the maximum and minimum values. If a value is below whiskers or above whisker, that is called outlier here. So we have a value which is too much farther away than whiskers. From the median value is too much far, and this value is round about 15,000 value, and this is an outlier, okay? So simply you can use the graph box plot. In the box plot, if the values are above whiskers, any value which is above whisker, we call it an outlier simply. Okay, but if you just try to know whether which number is whisker, this data, okay, I just need to know if you have 1,000 values and what is the number of this whisker, then simply we have a function. What is the function in Stata? The function is you should type, you can just use the graphic method from here to find out the box plot, or also you can use the function here, the command. And how to use it, just type graph, okay, already the function you can see graph box, right? And then we have purchase amount, okay, and that is purchase amount. You can type it, and also you can click from here, okay. Then after that, put comma, and then type mark, and then start with bracket and one and comma and m label, right? M label, and then start with bracket and type ID and close with two bracket. Okay, this is a function. Don't worry about it. Just simply learn this, and this function can help you just to give in ID number to your outlier. But before this function, when I'm just clicking this, there is no ID. Why? Because we have ID, but this ID is not correct, right? Look, if you check the edit view, in edit view we have ID, but this ID is not appropriate. There are some text and there are number, right? The value is not appropriate. So what we should do, we need pure ID numbers, which is starting from 1 to 2, 1, 2, 3 in this order. So simply you can generate a new ID here. So type gen very simply and type ID. It means I'm telling Stata to generate an ID, equal sign, and the id should be starting from 1 to n. It means there should be a series of number. Okay, press enter, then look here, and id has been generated. If you just go into edit view, then you will see id. We have id starting from 1 and to 32. Now once you have an id with you, then you can use this function. Look, we have already a function here. Look, graph bucks, then purchase amount, comma, and then you should use mark, start with bracket 1 comma m label, and then start with bracket id. Now we have an id. We generated an id. Before, this command was not valid. Why? Because there was no id. Now when you press enter, now the command is valid. Look here, the outlier is 25th number value. This is the outlier, 25th value. Okay, so you know that. Let me check whether it is 25th or not. You just go into edit view, and 25th value, this is an outlier. Look here, this is outlier. So simply in Excel and etc., you have only learned how to find out outlier. Okay, one very much simple and straightforward way is to drop outlier if you don't have any solutions. There are many ways and solutions. Inshallah, I'm not focusing on in this lecture. Simply, I'm just letting you know to learn how to identify outlier. One straightforward way in outlier is just to drop it. If you drop the value of outlier, then the effect of outlier is neglected. You can remove it and your result will be reliable. Inshallah, in regression analysis or in data testing or data diagnostic, inshallah, I'll let you many other techniques how to manage the outlier. But here, just only focus on how to identify the straight method to remove outlier. Okay, how to remove outlier in Stata? So you can just say drop in 25th. I'm just telling to drop 25th value. So one observation deleted, and now if you check it back in the edit, there is no 25th value anymore. Okay, up to this point you should learn how to identify outlier in Stata, and furthermore have to deal the straightaway method, which is to delete the outlier. And there are some other method, inshallah, step by step we will work on how to deal with outliers to make that data ready for your analysis. Hopefully, inshallah, this session was useful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.